These are the metacarpal. These are the carpal bones of the ox. These are irregular, short bones, and there are 6 carpal bones in the ox. In the typical in an ox. So first is the radial carpal. The radial carpal is also known as the scaphoid carpal bone. It is the largest bone of the upper row, because there are 2 rows. One is the proximal row and one is the distal row. So it is the largest of the upper row, and it has 6 surfaces. One is the anterior, posterior, lateral, medial, dorsal and ventral. So it has 3 articular surfaces and 3 non-articular surfaces. The anterior, medial and the posterior are the non-articular, whereas rest are the articular surfaces. The upper surface is convexo-concave for the articulation with the radius. The distal surface fuses with the second and the third carpal, and the lateral surface bears facets for the intermediate carpal. So you can see these facets along with the facets of the medial surface of the intermediate carpal joins very nicely. Now coming to the intermediate carpal, which is also known as the semilunar carpal, it has 2 non-articular surfaces, unlike the radial one. The 2 non-articular surfaces are the anterior and posterior, whereas the medial and lateral contains facets for the radial and for the ulnar carpal. So the proximal surface is convexo-concave and articulates with the radius. This is convexo-concave and articulates with the radius, and the distal surface is divided by a sagittal ridge into 2 facets, one for the second and third carpal, and one is for the fourth carpal. So the medial surface has facets for the radial carpal, and the lateral surface has facets for the ulnar carpal. So along with this, it very nicely joins like this. Now coming to the ulnar carpal. Ulnar carpal is also known as the cuneiform carpal, and it is very irregular. The proximal surface is continuous on the distal surface and articulates with the fourth carpal. So it articulates with the fourth carpal here. The medial surface has facets for the intermediate carpal. The anterior surface is rough and convex.
I guess batteries.
The posterior surface has a facet for the accessory one. So the accessory carpal can nicely fit here. This accessory carpal is also known as the pisiform, and it is short, thick and rounded. It is a sesamoid bone, and the anterior surface has facet for ulnar carpal, whereas the distal surface is broad and rough. Now coming to the distal rows. The distal rows contains 2 bones. These 2 bones are the fused second and third carpal and the fourth carpal. The fused second and third carpal is the biggest, and it is also known as the os magnum. It has 3 non-articular and 3 articular surfaces. The proximal surface has 2 facets. The medial one being the larger one for the radial carpal. So the radial carpal will join here, and the lateral is the smaller one for the intermedial carpal. The intermedial carpal will join here. The distal surface articulates with the large metacarpal. This distal surface articulates with the large metacarpal, and the lateral surface has facets for the fourth carpal. So it has facets for the fourth carpal. Then we go to the fourth carpal. The proximal surface of the fourth carpal has 2 facets. These 2 facets are for the intermediate and for the ulnar one. So this both attach here. And fourth carpal. The anterior and the lateral surfaces are continuous and rough. These are not articular surfaces. This is about the carpals.